Alright, y'all, the first poll won, and that means Heaven's Sacred Requiem is here first. Honestly, I also wanted Heaven's Sacred first, truth be told, but just because it's been a while since I've seen Cain. And just to let you know, I just feel the need to emphasize how much I love y'all, because, like, I have one driving lesson in about 10 minutes, and instead of actually relaxing since I just got off work, I felt the need to immediately record. Like, this is the love I have for you. Like, it's unconditional, it just doesn't stop. I'm so excited. Season 2, episode 7, the last member of the order. Episode 7, where does pain come from? From the inside. What kind of question is that? From delusion, from frustration, everything. Childhood, what is this? Are we tagging a little bit deeper into our character's trauma? Because we did talk in the last episode to Cain about the possibility that we could have known him from the past. When pushed out of the womb, an infant crawls through a narrow gateway that wants to crush it. Y'all, you all know that I have to vividly imagine things I could have done without that. Then comes the first breath, the first touch, and the first realization that it now has something to lose. Shake, cry, scream with your first fear, baby. What is happening? As soon as I saw the light, all my thoughts disappeared. What kind of outfit is this? No matter. Our door has been looking shabby for a while now. Does nobody notice but me? I feel like she's tagging a little more into her emotions, which is why she is slowly starting to read between the lines. And the second that you do, you start to have a brighter view than you used to have before. Like, normally we human beings have the tendency to actually not overanalyze things like I'm doing, for example. We just look at things from above, like not actually getting too deep into this, like just judging what we see without actually trying to read behind someone's intentions. And I feel like, considering everything that we've been through, all the trauma that has been added to her already, full plate, I feel, and the reason that she forgot her memories had nothing to do with the apocalypse starting, but more like because of the real darkness that she's hiding behind that door, as in the darkness viewed as trauma, frustration, desperation, sadness, despair. All of those emotions being amplified during the course of her childhood, and the more negativity that she had to endure because of Dimitry, because of Anna, because that family is fucked up beyond reasonable doubt. That door that was already filled to the brim with negativity has been feeling the need to open up more in order to let those negative emotions that were coming because of those two bitches. So, since it's already filled to the brim, the negative emotions that were hidden behind that door slowly started to come to the surface. So now her subconscious is like kind of forcing her to dig deeper into her past and dig deeper into like her emotions. Like, she has been really cold, and I've been saying this like already in the first episode, but also like versus the end of the season, that she's pretty cold off and detached from her emotions. And we can see here that she's now actually seeing something where other people may not see anything. I wonder if my parents are home yet. They usually stay out late on Fridays. I walked into the narrow hallway and put my backpack on the floor. Are we in our teenage years? There were only 2 classes today, but I'm so tired, as if I worked in a factory all day. And all because we had to work in groups. Sometimes communication takes so much energy. She's an introvert, okay. Stepping on the heel of my boot, I pulled it off. The fact that it would make it wear out faster didn't bother me at all. I placed them perfectly straight. My father didn't like sloppiness. Oh god, he's a perfectionist. Mine too. Mine too. He has the tendency to exaggerate over little things to the point where we actually grow up having the feeling that if everything isn't perfect, then we are a disgrace to the entire community. I'm telling you, I felt that way. I wanted to collapse on the sofa as soon as possible. In my hurry, I knocked over the old cradle by the entryway. Weird, I thought that was thrown out years ago. Maybe my father still hasn't taken out the trash. Y'all, this actually is making me feel some type of way, y'all. I don't think that this is like a past memory, that she's like reminiscing in her past. I feel like she's imagining this. Like in her Delulu land, she's actually imagining that she is in her old house and there are parts of herself that she wished she could forget, but she can't. Resting my hand on it, I found myself thinking about my childhood. In the end, we almost never used it. I was a calm, quiet child, so my mother didn't have to fuss over me at all. Yeah. If we remember the moment when Dimitry, Anna, and Greg actually seduced our ass and used drugs on us, we don't really have good memories of our parents, so that's some bullshit. The narrow hallway leading to the living room had old framed photographs hung up on its walls. There weren't many of them, just enough for the rare guests to consider our family to be friendly and happy. I walked forward, looking around. At the entryway was a photo of me as a baby. My first photo. It took my parents some time to come to terms with having a child. I think they were also put off by how unusually calm I was for a baby. But the neighbors didn't complain about any constant screaming, and my parents didn't have to lose sleep at night. I walked further, school, senior year, university, and my first relationship, which ended very quickly. You got bored and ran away. The older I got, the more I understood how hard it was to fit into social norms. Bye. We're tacking into deep shit this update. Okay. Maybe if I had burst into tears as soon as I opened my eyes, everything would have gone differently. Y'all, could this be possible that we're special? As in maybe that we have special kind of blood? And maybe, I don't want to always say that the main character is like the special one here. But could it be possible that Cain got experimented on with our blood? Maybe we have like something inside of us that makes us special, because usually babies cry when they're born, and we were always quiet apparently. No one ever knew that we were there because we're that quiet. It was that we already had a calm mind, as in a mature mind, when we were young. Of course, it's not really showing in our Karen's attitude. Yes, I called her MC Karen. But she is extremely cold and detached, as if she would have already been alive once. And she has already seen so much shit that as a baby, she doesn't have like this drama, this like need of attention from their mothers, etc. We're quiet. As if we wouldn't need that because we have already seen all the awful things, so we don't really need to be taught. If you get what I mean. My mother would have picked me up and wanted to comfort me. God damn. But the pain allotted to me was different, not physical but spiritual. It manifested itself in loneliness. I felt it when my mother hugged me, when I looked at my father, when I smiled at my friends, when I stood in front of the mirror. I'm thinking about bad things again. I need a distraction. A girl, if you knew. Incense wafted from the living room. The monotonous voice of a host of some regional show quietly echoed through the house. Mom? She was lying on the couch, petting the cat, sleeping peacefully on her stomach. Such serenity in the house was rare. My goodness. If Mom is calmly lying there, Dad definitely isn't home. When they are together, all they do is fight. Oh my god, what did I say? Toxicity in the household. Let's go, okay. She's doing alright. I think I better... She's doing better. Lie your way through college. I regret nothing. Yeah. Lying. The truth is, I'm finding it harder and harder to concentrate, and I'm missing out on a lot of material. Yes, because I don't really have a healthy household that can actually give me the motivation or the backbone in order to be stronger. Like, you see, in general, like, at least that's like that for me. Like, you can tell me in the comments what you think. My family is my fortress, because at the end of the day, they are supposed to always be by my side no matter what. That's why, in my eyes, there are two types of families. The family you're born into and the family you choose. In my eyes, the family that you choose is even more powerful. Like, the love you feel towards them and the mental support that they're capable to give you is even more powerful, because they don't necessarily have to love you. Like, you just meet people along the way during the course of your life, and then you choose whether you want them in your life or not. They choose to remain by your side over the course of years and years. They choose to support you. They choose to believe in you. They choose to be by your side. They choose to be your friend. They are family, and they are the people that are supposed to actually give you moral support. They're supposed to actually give you energy, strength when you don't have any more left. This toxic household is actually draining her of her energy. Girl, if you know, then don't be coming to me. Mumbling something incoherent, my mother continued staring blankly at the TV without even turning her head in my direction. The fuck? Thank God she didn't start picking on me. Usually I can't get away from her that easily. What did I say? Like, this is so fucking sad. Normally, she picks on her, makes her feel miserable, makes her feel bad about herself, and then she lets us go so that we can go cry and feel depressed in our room. The fuck? Walking into the open palm kitchen, I poured myself a glass of water. Y'all have the feeling I jumped like an episode or something. Like, how did we even get here? There were some bags on the counter by the fridge. The fragrant smell of fresh bread emanated from them. My stomach rumbled. I tried to look through them as quietly as I could. There was a fresh baguette, milk, and some other things. If I take anything without asking, my mother will get mad later. If I ask, she'll scold me for not cooking for myself, and so on. Swallowing my hunger, I quietly closed the bag. The fuck? I'd rather be patient. This is so fucking ridiculous. Like, they even had us starve ourselves. Wow. Like, having the feeling that we can't do shit without actually asking for permission. That would actually explain why she's not actually capable to... Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna keep that for myself. No, you know what? You're all here because you want to hear my analysis, because you want to hear my opinion. So why should I keep quiet? Like, I have said it on so many occasions that this woman does not know how to play her cards right. She kept on asking people for opinion. Like, not really she asked them for opinion, but she cared more about their opinion. Like, if they were mad, then she felt the need to apologize, even though they treated her like shit. She's used to people treating her like shit. So, in her point of view, this is just how people will treat her. Because she's not used to it any other way. Her parents treated her like shit, a toxic environment. So in her eyes, people treating her like shit, her actually beating her, her mentally abusing her. In her eyes, that's normal for her existence. That's a normal existence for her. So when people nowadays, like Dimitry, Anna, treating her like a piece of shit, she's used to it. So she thinks it's no normal behavior. Then people not actually apologizing, and then she actually having to swallow her pride, her feelings of her hurt feelings, her anger, and then actually overlooking everything, and then actually enjoying the calm before the storm, asking them like being in your favor or something because they're treating you nicely, but you know it won't last, and that's just like the calm before the storm. That's why she can't say shit to Dimitri and Anna. This is so fucked up. And again, she needs therapy. I didn't want to linger in the kitchen. Besides, in my backpack there was an interesting new book I found in an old shop. But my mother's sudden request delayed my escape. Give me my pills. Oh my god. I opened the fridge and reached for the shelf reserved for her numerous medications. She was a hypochondriac. The fuck is that? Nah. I'm googling this. Hypochondriac, a person who is abnormally anxious about their health. Ugh. Okay. Alright, so she is the kind of person that will kind of like force her to remain skinny AF. That's why she had said that she has to be patient about actually eating. Nah. My mother would spare her own nerves, but no one else's. Yeah, it's strange they're not here. On the shelf, where there were always stacks of vials and jars, there was now a cat food. No one was allowed to move them. Where could they have gone? What the fuck? An anxious feeling began to grow inside. Do we even have a cat? Hastily closing the fridge, I looked around the room. I'm petrified. Jump scare? Jump scare? Come to think of it, my mother hated incense and never watched TV. The thought flashed and quickly faded. I was no longer exactly sure of my feelings. Or did she love them and watch TV? Oh my god, we're actually hyperventilating in our own delulu. That's even worse. Because you're actually realizing that you are in delirium and you're imagining some scenarios like that are supposed to like keep you company because right now you have nothing left, and then you realize yourself that you have fallen into the delulu and you don't want to admit to yourself that you are in a delirium. You hyperventilate. This is so fucked up, y'all. I did not come in here to suffer. Something made me go into the living room. My gaze fell on the sofa. Was there where I was? Was that where it was? And why am I home? I applied to a university abroad after receiving a scholarship. Anxiety crept up my stomach. Well, what did I say? It entangled my lungs, heart, and throat. What's going on? It feels like my memories are failing me. The bright room began to darken quickly. My mother's figure turned to smoke and disappeared from the sofa as the TV hissed angrily. What is even going on? Oh my god. I don't understand what's going on. Jump scare. I'm waiting for the jump scare, y'all. A gray wisp spread through the house and then formed into a shape that stood in the center of the room. Yes, you didn't study here. You were so disgusted by being here that you ran away to another continent. And after you returned, nothing but routine waited for you. Translations, and so on until the cataclysm began. The outlines of the shadow wavered. I tried to make out the features, but they eluded me. What are you? You always wanted to go beyond the ordinary. You thought you'd find meaning there, and now, having seen something unknown, you avoid it. You bitch, that's just rude. I don't understand. The silhouette suddenly disappeared and then reappeared in every window. Frightened by its gaze, I backed away and pressed myself against the wall. Oh my god, what's going on? Should I run? I'll get to the door as fast as I can. Don't even try. This room is a trap. No matter where you run, you'll end up back here. Ignoring the warning, I rushed to the door. Turning the lock, I swung it open and found myself in the same house. What the... How? Running to the new door, I opened it and found myself back in the same spot again. I'm here for your own good. I want to open your eyes. For a second, I thought I heard the sound of waves. My head began to clear and I paused, no longer trying to escape. The squad was on the oil platform. Then we got into the boat. Suddenly a voice sounded right next to my ear. Limona, do you often think about God? Turning around, I noticed a shadow again in the middle of the room. Do you think he left you? Are you angry? The voice was coaxing, calm, and very familiar, as if repeating my own thoughts. Oh God, like imagine you actually having like this person next to you slowly whispering in your ear, like you can actually feel their breath slowly moving up from your shoulder to up to your neck and then to your ear. Oh. Completely lost, I let go of the door and returned to the living room. The shadow leaned closer. Its bottomless black eyes were right in front of mine. Do you blame God for your misfortune? What a strange question. Y'all, but not them actually tackling like beliefs. I did say I'm not a believer. But my mother is, and in my eyes, even if I'm not a believer, I should actually have enough decency and respect towards others to actually not hate on their religion when they're around, or like in general just like have this open mind. I'm not a believer anymore, but I used to be, so I actually know what actually makes believers be and remain believers. So I should actually appreciate them for still having hope and not having lost the hope like me. It seemed to be leading me into something. I don't blame. Oh, I blame plenty. I mean, not anymore, but when I actually fell into a dark pit myself back in the day when I was sick, I actually blamed everything on God. And that moment in my life was so traumatic that I actually became a non-believer. People have been praying, bowing, and trusting in higher powers for centuries. What do they get in the end? We die, suffer, torment ourselves, and pay for sins we didn't commit. Amen, sis. I would also say, because of the fact that I've been actually analyzing my own feelings and everything, and I'm also a very logical person in my eyes, like hope is like a tool that a lot of people use in order to get what they want out of you. Of course, I'm not saying that God manipulates us, like for God's sake, like don't try to lay words into my mouth, like I'm not. What I'm trying to say is, at the end of the day, even if God is there and he would be giving us strength, at the end of the day, all the shit that I have to go through, I have to go through by myself. God does not take my pain away. He does not take away the pain laying on me for centuries. He does not take away my sickness. He doesn't take away anything. He only gives me hope that things will get better. But the inner strength, like the strength of character, I need to build that myself through harsh reality, through pain, through suffering, through trauma. Like God does not help me with that. Reading my thoughts, the shadow moved away. Not knowing where this was going made me break out in a cold sweat. Why are you so down? Just like them. Oh my God. Do you blame them too for leaving you alone? Are you feeling sorry for yourself? Lifeless bodies with gray flabby skin hung from the ceiling, swaying rhythmically, y'all, as if they were like weightless and the wind would be... No, y'all! What is this? But now I remember where we ended last episode. Like, we were with Cain, I think. Cain and Anna on a boat. Wide on seeing eyes swelled, bundles of red capillas broke through the cloudy film. Dad? Mom? I used to dream of getting rid of their supervision. Your parents thought you were estranged. No one could be proud of such a daughter. And they controlled you to prevent you from doing weird things. They limited you. They pressured you. That mistrust hurt, didn't it? My lips twitched and my gaze started over the figures. I couldn't get enough air, so I started breathing through my mouth. Like I said, the hyperventilation. Like, especially if you are depressed or like any mental sickness, you call it. You would actually confront yourself sooner or later with what used to hurt you the most, because sooner or later you want to understand. After years and years of torture, of like suffering, you want to understand why you hate yourself, like exclamation mark. You want to understand why you feel that much negativity inside, why that negativity leads to panic attacks, to anxiety attacks, like to any negative outburst that isn't considered normal, okay? And that doesn't make you feel good. So you start to actually confront yourself. And especially since we just heard she's an introvert, mostly introverts do that, and extroverts, the second that they become mentally ill, they also turn introvert. What does an introvert do? They talk to themselves. Here, you confront, as in your inner voice, like your thoughts at the back of your mind, at the front of your mind, is actually trying to discuss things with your subconscious. Okay? Like, because your subconscious is like what you actually do know, and what is reality, and the thoughts in the front of your head are the thoughts that you actually believe right now, as in when you're in denial. These are the thoughts in the front of your head, and your subconscious knows better, and sooner or later you then confront yourself. But who dared to take them away from you? I'll give you a hint. Humans. Do you think others are worth trusting? They are evil, mean, and selfish. Water suddenly began accumulating in the corners of the room. They force you to abandon your family. You're alive. Deprived you of the right to choose, just so you could translate a book for them. But there was more water. Cracks covered the walls, ready to pressure from the growing pressure. They did this to you. I looked at the shadow blankly. What are you anyway? Just a memory, an image of your past self. This is actually wow. Yeah, this is literally what I just said. She's actually confronting herself with her subconscious. Wow, how did we even get here? The room was now flooded with water. I reached out to the shadow, wanting to contain it, to keep it from disappearing. Voice penetrated inside, filling the space quickly. It was up to my neck. The darkness that spoke to me was intangible. Yet, as it opened its mouth, its last words were hoarse, as if water was getting into its throat. Remember. The walls collapsed and everything inside washed away. I began to choke on my last breath when someone grabbed my hand and pulled me out of the water. Huh? Simona, damn it, how did you fall in? We actually fell into the water. Breathing heavily, I looked around the lifeboat. The nightmare was finally over. I must have fallen asleep. I see, we're almost there, so you better not sleep anymore. You'd be woken up soon anyway. Nodding, I looked at the approaching skyscrapers. The darkness made them look foreboding. Many of them were nothing but metal frames, huge piles sticking out of the water like the skeletons of a once vibrant city. Damn, I never thought the day would come when I'd see New York so depressing. As soon as the lifeboat approached the first skyscraper, everyone went silent. Even the immortals who were helping row with the crew raised their heads, gazing at the majestic buildings. The crew quietly whispered among themselves, Cain, where is he? After what happened on the platform, the soldiers looked exhausted, but they weren't able to be alone with their thoughts. Looking at the others, I noticed that the captain, a gray-haired man who appeared a little older than Hans, tried to avoid the general. Everyone is avoiding the general. It seems Dimitry told him everything he thought about his decision. And the talk wasn't a pleasant one. A reprimand from someone younger would hurt his dignity. But the general is right. Rushing in without a plan to save a bunch of unknowns is dubious heroism. Especially considering how many people were on board, people he almost sacrificed in the end. The squad sailed closer and closer to the city. Collapsed skyscrapers appearing ahead formed the passage almost like a gate. They flooded under them and saw what remained after the disaster. Glass high rises lay destroyed on top of each other like fallen dominoes. The waves washed debris, ruined belongings, and rotten branches onto them. Simona, look. I raised my head and saw birds flying above us. They'd flown out of a building through a broken window. Inside, several bodies hung suspended from the ceiling, and I exchanged worried glances. Let's go closer to the squad. I don't like it here. Without being ordered to, as if obeying some instinct, we all gathered near the immortal. The immortals are kind of like the fathers in the story, apparently. Like, it's been going down from generation to generation that the father is, like, supposed to be the protector of the family. Going into war for the women and the children, etc. Like, you'll get what I mean. Everyone's surrounding themselves behind the immortals because they have the power. Even Lester, usually in high spirits, was suddenly quite intense. This is the depressing sight. The general sat down next to... Y'all, you are still asking myself why I hate the general. Every opportunity that we get to be with Cain, the general takes it. How is it possible? Like, is the general gay? Is he gay? Does he have a thing for Cain? Because there's no fucking way. Like, there are 3 immortals, and he always goes for Cain. Honestly, at this point, I just want for Cain to actually be ordered to commit mass murder again, to the point where he can't control himself, and then he just rips the general's head off. Because at this point, this man is doing way too much. The angel lowered his oar and looked at the water. A minute passed before he spoke. I don't think there are any living humans nearby. Oh, they're hiding themselves well. I see. Then we sail on. All right. The fishing boat that left before us couldn't have come through here. There's not enough room. They probably had to go around to anchor. Nah, they were murdered, massacred. We'll think about it later. First, we need to find the Ferris wheel from the photo. If the cultists get here, they'll probably be there. The boat moved forward, meandering along the canals. Frequently in the apartments we passed, corpses of people who never got out of their concrete cages flashed by. The further we sailed, the more often we saw the cultists' bloody symbols appearing on the walls. So they came this way after all. Well, the cultists somehow spread over here. It's all so strange. Pylon suddenly turned to us. Hi. There are fires ahead. They're behind those buildings. Then we'll stop here and check who it is. Bye. You're not the only surviving human being, y'all. Oh, that's nice with the fire. Bye. Look at this. It turned out the fires were lit by ordinary humans. A small group of survivors gathered at one skyscraper, the walls of which turned out to be stronger than the rest. The people were attempting to keep warm by burning trash. They were trying to accept the new state of affairs by setting up a kind of temporary camp. The wind by water was particularly cold and harsh, causing the fires to go out repeatedly. The humans by the fires were dressed in rags and huddled close to each other. While the rest of the crew was moving from the boat to the skyscraper, the general went to question the locals. A woman came up to us, apparently entrusted with the responsibility of negotiating with the strangers. Oh, she cute. If you're not from here, does that mean your town was washed away too? Not exactly, but the situation isn't much better. Tell me what happened here. A huge wave came up. It washed away everything that was built near the water. The people who lived here are almost all dead now. The woman kept glancing over her shoulders. I turned around to see what was bothering her. And the Pylon, the captain, and a couple of the crew soldiers were standing behind us. I think her attention is drawn to the presence of immortals here. The angel was quietly talking to the demon. They probably scare her. Many have only seen them from afar and don't know how to behave around them. But they seem to get better at interacting not only with the squad but also with each other. Usually Cain kept to himself, but he didn't leave us, preferring to stand somewhere nearby. Aww. As it was, he listened silently but didn't ask questions. It seemed what had happened to the survivors didn't interest him much. This man does not give a fuck, honestly. Cain never changed. Cain, do me a favor and never change. She actually gives off Malbonte vibes again. Sorry, but I have to. Like, Cain literally, he does not give a damn about anything but the people that he cares about. And about his own ambition, etc. Like, You could call it selfish. I just call it being smart and intelligent. Like, life is so short and everyone keeps on asking you to be like selfless, always giving a damn about others, yet everyone keeps on only giving a damn about them. So I'm only gonna give a damn about myself and about the people that in my eyes are worthy of all the love in the world, which lately, if I can't say so myself, are very, very rare. So, just letting you know, I appreciate what this man is saying and doing. He's like, I could care less. The city was flooded after the moon split, right? Yeah, first one thing, then another. Misfortunes never come alone.
Have you tried to get to dry land?
Of course, though. Is there even any left? Why are you here? If your city is still standing, what are you doing here? We're looking for the Ferris wheel. Any idea where it might be? The woman raised her eyebrows in surprise. It used to be a couple of blocks away, but I don't think it's still standing. And why do you need it anyway?
We'd like to take a look at it. Tell me, do you have a boat?
No. The woman looked away, sighing. The general softened his voice. Oh, well, we'll look at that. Nah, you're seeing that your bitch-ass attitude is not really wished here. Not really appreciated.
Don't worry, we're not looters. Most of the crew on the boat we arrived on will stay with you. Besides, we won't take it for free. If you need help, we'll try to do everything we can.
The woman looked at the general with distrust, but seeing his direct, open gaze, she softened. There's an old lady in a wheelchair left in the neighboring building. We're just about to check on her. If you bring her here, I'll give you what you want.
Show us the way.
The general, Greg, and Jan followed the woman. Jan! Sorry. Like, he also has become a very side character, and I don't understand. Like, it's been since the end of last season, I think, that this man is here. Cain leaned over to me and quietly asked, Yo, like, of course he know Malbonte, but he actually gives me the same kind of excitement, even though Malbonte's excitement is a lot stronger, like all the Malbonte fangirls would know, but like I feel this positive thrill every single time that this man is interacting with us.
Simone, are you hungry?
Not this man asking if we're hungry. Yes, we haven't eaten in a while. After hearing the affirmative, Cain departed, leaving me in the dark. Huh? A little later, he returned with an old torn net in which lay a bunch of stunned fishes. No, this man actually went hunting. Y'all, I could jump him on the spot. I could jump him. No, and I rushed up to him looking at his catch in amazement. Nah, he's a king. How did you do that? If he doesn't have powers, then maybe he used to be a fisherman. Who knows?
At the water with energy.
And then, y'all, the raising eyebrow. You know how I feel about the eyebrow.
Is that enough for you?
Bye! No, y'all, this actually looks like he actually has some kind of beef with us, but this is actually him trying to show that he's anxious about our reaction. That's more than enough. The rest of the squad also stood nearby. Then I noticed a couple of children who were hiding behind Kira and Anna, not daring to stand next to the immortal.
Fences are burning a fire here. I think we can fry them.
After a while, each of us had a modest dinner. Bye. Like, Cain... Your friendship with Cain has improved. I'm pretty sure that the author wrote this wrong. What kind of friendship? When did I have any friendship intentions towards Cain, y'all? This is actually an insult. This is literally like us starting Heaven's Secret and us being with Malbonte, and we're taking like choices in order to like get romantic with this man, and he's like, thank you, see you later, friend. You understand what I mean? This is an insult. It tasted like rubber and didn't smell particularly appetizing. However, watching the zeal with which the children clawed into the food, I forced myself to finish it. In my eyes, it's better than having nothing, and besides, Cain really did everything he could. The general, Greg, and Jan soon returned. Actually, imagine this. I'm sorry. We need to actually get deeper into this. This man would have not given us a damn thing. And nobody would have had dinner if we wouldn't have said, yes, I'm hungry. This man only went out to get food because we said we're hungry. Y'all! That's real. They fulfilled the woman's request and transported the old lady, who turned out to be her mother, from one scraper to the other. As soon as the squad completed the one task, we were bombarded with more ones that were no longer based in reality. Nobody gives a damn about your designer sofa. You're surrounded by water and all you care about is a piece of furniture left God knows where.
Do you even know how much it cost? It should have been told you. If it's not there tomorrow, believe me,
You will do nothing. What will you call the family lawyer? Lester.
And don't touch the paintings. They're the works of a young artist from Hungary. In their prime, critics rated them at...
Oh my god, okay. Yeah. I underline. You're crazy. Apparently, this is where the elite lived. Who else could afford apartments and buildings like these? Has the loss of their fortune really hit these people so hard that they prefer to deny reality and believe that they could ever go back to their old lives? As darkness fell, most of the survivors went into their apartments. They'd arranged everything so the tilt of the skyscraper wouldn't bother them.
We haven't obeyed.
Yo, again, I'm so sorry.
We have about a rough idea of where to go. We won't wait until dawn. We'll go right now. At night, we have a better chance of staying unnoticed.
Yes, and also about being attacked. You won't see everything in the dark.
Heard that only the squad is going. Where's the rest of the crew staying? Agreed they would survey the nearby areas. The ship that the Coulters sailed on should be around here somewhere. Besides, they have their own mission. They have to set up a small station here. Donovan needs to be able to communicate with other cities.
When the preparations for departure were complete, I went down to the boat with the others and carefully climbed in. Let me guess, Dimitry all sat in front. Noah almost fell as he got in behind me. He grabbed his thigh as he sat on the edge. That's odd, the demon hunter was hit in the same place. Does your leg hurt?
I ran into something when Jan and I were dragging the boat into the water.
Noah is too observant not to notice a hazard. The rest of the squad also got onto the boat. There was barely enough room for everyone. Hans and the doctor were the last to climb down to us, not them actually trying to make Noah the demon hunter. It's too awkward to ask his name now. I'll wait for someone else to do it. Dimitry nodded to the captain, watching our departure from the upper floors. Then he raised the oar, forcing the boat to move forward. And what did I say? As long as Dimitry is there, the author really has a thing for Dimitry. It's the only explanation for me. Weak lanterns and a net tied with phosphorus tape barely illuminated the area around us. Kira, Anna, and I were forced to sit under a flimsy awning. Y'all, the two women I hate the most. The two women I hate the most. From all the women that we've met so far. I love Ania. The immortal. She at least has a backbone. They huddled close to me on either side and tried to warm up a little. The heck? Noticing us, Ania wedged herself in the middle and, as if by accident, covered us with her wings. Aww. The fuck? Not them actually going with German. It continues, y'all. I love this. What is a German guy doing here? I can't. Okay, y'all. I'm gonna read this in German and I'm gonna translate it because I don't remember, but I think they don't translate it.
Das tut weh, willst du mich umbringen oder was?
Alright. That means it hurts. Are you trying to kill me or what? Ooh! That's nice! Oh, that's nice! Nice one. Okay, this time they actually translated it. Sit still, old man. No one has ever died on my watch. Oh, that's so cute that the doctor speaks German, honestly. The doctor bandaged a deep cut on the engineer's shoulder. Those two weren't part of the squad, but they wanted to go with us. Dimitry didn't deny them, knowing they could be useful, of course. It's always great to see this bitch on screen. Like, Padre, I know how you feel when you see Michael. Honestly, and I get the hate towards David. Like, I have already talked about this in the comment section. Like, I love David, but the more time we get with him and less with like Raphael, Michael, and Malik, the more I feel the need to shit on him. I just do. Because every single human being is special in their own way. And if the author feels the need to actually push someone into my direction, I feel the need to actually go against you. Like, we only see David. Like, Michael, Raphael, Malik, they are not ever there. Oh, God. Oh. I see the outline of a wheel. We need to go around a few structures, then we'll get to it.
Great, then let's turn.
After stopping at the right point, Cain flapped his wings and the boat slowly changed direction. Oh. The wind blew and Anna and I pressed ourselves closer to each other. Noah, Lester, Jan, and Greg sat in the center, helping the boat move faster and smoother. Pylon and Cain worked together for the first time, using their wings to accelerate the boat to the necessary speed at the right moment. So, no more hate between you two. If it weren't for the oppressive atmosphere of uncertainty that surrounded us, our trip could have been both exciting and interesting. Gradually, the wheel got closer and the dark recesses in the flooded buildings ceased to frighten. Either there are cultists waiting for us to avoid, or maybe we'll get lucky for once. I prefer to narrow the choice down to the last option. Finding the right apartment building turned out to be quite simple. Leaving the demon, the doctor, and the engineer in the boat, the squad began slowly making their way up to the skyscraper. Judging by the photo, the floor will need be somewhere around 6 or 7 stories up.
Be ready, we may not be alone here.
Stepping along the crumbling concrete stairs, we walked onward. Today we get a good warm-up for the legs. Occasionally, sounds came from behind the apartment doors. The wind roaming the empty rooms made such piercing cries that they made a body shudder. It must be here. Greg stopped at a door, and the general gently yanked the handle toward him. It opened, and a spacious 2-story apartment appeared before us. It seems to be empty. Guys, uh-oh. We turned to Jan, who was walking up last. A short woman stood behind him, pointing a gun at his head. Don't move and answer my questions directly. The fuck? Why is everyone pointing guns at us? Stand still. At this point, what you gonna do? The rest of the squad did the same, and I realized I was doing everything right. Provoking someone with a gun without a good plan in mind wasn't the smartest idea. What are you looking for here? Dimitry and Cain exchanged glances. Honestly, at this point, I'm jealous of Dimitry. I'm jealous of Dimitry. When do I get this, this nice feeling between me and Cain? Me and Cain when? The woman stamped her foot on the small cartridge holder hanging on her belt open, revealing green ampoules tucked inside. She's well prepared. Did you notice the ring on the neck? It looks like the one in the photo. Taking the gun away from Jan's temple for just a second, the woman fired at the wall, attracting her attention. Don't talk. Answer the question. We're looking for someone, the person who sent this photo. Greg slowly put his hand in his pocket and just as slowly pulled out the photo. Take it. She pushed Jan closer and made him hand the photo to her. Where did you get this? We found it in the home of a man who is no longer alive. We need to talk to his friend who's in the photo. That ring on your neck. It's her. Frowning, the woman didn't let me finish. Why do you need it? Her gaze was direct and penetrating. If I try to hide something, she'll know immediately. We're looking for the order, and the man in the photo is its last surviving member. How do you know about the order? He took a page from the Book of the Apocalypse. Without them, we won't be able to translate it, and without that, the world will probably end. There were other people here a few days ago. Are they your friends?
Damn, so the cultists have been here already.
The woman raised an eyebrow, still waiting for an answer. No, it's best not to mess with them. These people don't spare anyone. After looking at us for a few more seconds, the woman suddenly put the gun away. My name is Portia. You don't have to introduce yourselves yet. I don't think I'll remember everyone. My husband owned almost this whole building. However, Portia picked up the ring that was hanging on her chest. He's long gone.
So the cultists left with nothing.
Depends on what they were looking for. Those people searched every corner of this place, and I hid and waited for them to leave.
Then why did you decide to come out with us? It was safer to pretend you weren't here.
Unlike them and unlike most of the looters, you have a woman with you. Plus, this guy's face seemed familiar to me. Portia looked at Jan, and strangely he looked away.
Did your husband leave any notes behind? Or maybe he had a place where he kept valuables?
Nothing related to his hobby was ever in our house. He didn't want to put me in danger, and I was never interested in his affairs.
Then will you allow us to look through everything in here?
Portia straightened up and smiled. Her posture and proud, reserved appearance easily gave her away as the owner of this once luxurious place. I'll answer all your questions later, but first tidy yourselves up. The roof was breached on several upper floors, so now the rainwater is collecting in the bathtubs. You can wash up and I'll find some clothes for you and cook something. All right, whatever you say, ma'am. Portia turned out to be a very simple, sweet woman. She didn't have the strange habits that rich people often had. Thank goodness. She let Anna and me into a beautiful room with a marble bathtub in the middle. Naturally, the water is very cold, so be careful. A little later, I'll bring towels and show you to your room. You can change there.
Oh my god, I can finally wash off all the dirt and feel alive again.
Okay, that was a good one. After filling a pot with water that served as a basin, Anna dipped her hair in it. Without thinking twice, I did the same. We finished washing and wrapped ourselves up in towels before trotting off to the room that Portia had assigned us. All the cabinets and shelves are at your disposal. Choose whatever you want. Don't be shy. I don't need any of this anymore. When you're done, head out into the main room. I'll start cooking in the meantime. What a cute woman! Alright, this is all so cute, but honestly, I'm gonna go with Angel of Death, considering the fact that I'm choosing the Devil Road. Like, this is the only one that I'm willing to accept, like, the outfit. The first one was military, and that's not really what I do. Besides, it doesn't really suit me in real life. What the fuck are we seeing this? Lancelot, of course. Oh. A queen. Joker? I'm gonna be a marble. I love the piercing in the ear. Pluto. That's so funny. Saturn? What are we even doing right now? Hold up. Oh, the necklace. My apologies. I thought maybe it was like a bracelet or something. I was trying to figure out what I'm supposed to choose. Nah, honestly, I think this is the best option, like Pluto, because the other one, this is too bright. This is like a bracelet. Nah, this is like blue. I mean, it could work, but I think it's best to actually leave it like this dark blue. Are you done? Look what I found. Do you think it suits me? I'm definitely not gonna choose anything from you, girl. You are gonna remain the way you are. I'm sure as hell not gonna pay for you. If Cain comes with his fine ass and decides to dress differently, I'm gonna pay for him. I'm not gonna pay for you. I think your white blouse looks too good on you to trade it in for anything. Okay, then I'll wash it a little later. Anna twirled around in front of the mirror, styling her hair. Then she put the comb down and opened the vanity cabinet. Simona, how do you feel about putting expired makeup on your clean skin? I'm not in the mood to do my makeup. She's gonna do it. Great, because I'm in the mood to be a makeup artist. Right. Sighing, I sat down on a chair and turned to face Anna. Like, they be putting those moments in here with Anna where I'm asking myself what this is supposed to be. Hot chocolate. Oh my god. Fresh rose. Tender knife. Y'all, they be trying to kill you with these choices. No, I'm gonna refuse. Anna opened the mascara and brought it to her nose. Although, maybe it's better not to risk it. Is it that bad? Let me smell it. Are you a junkie? Don't you know what expired cosmetics can smell like? I have only seen like expired nail polish because usually I would go into the salon to actually have my nails fixed. Like, I started doing that when I turned 17. And I would like usually still have like this nail polish. I would never actually get rid of it, and then you would like see the oil on top of all the color and blah. But no, the other makeup, no. Like, when I buy makeup, like mascara, like eyeshadow, lipstick, I always use it up. Stretching tiredly, she looked at herself in the mirror again. Then she spun around the room and collapsed on the large bed. Kiddo's probably washing up with Ania right now. Most likely, there's only enough water in the bathtub for two. Ever noticed that Ania has become somehow more human? Or she simply stopped being so thorny? She covered us with her wings. She's not so insensitive. Getting up from the desk, I went to the bed and sat down next to her. You see the problem or the thing with Ania? She said things are the way they are right now. What can I do? She said I'm willing to like just let it slide. Because it's not like I have a choice here. Getting up from the desk, I went to the bed and sat down next to her. A loose bandage was peeking out from under her pants. You need to dress the wound. Anna put her leg on the bed and unwound the bandage. She continued to chat about Kira and Ania, occasionally asking me questions. I wanted to do nothing. I'll go to the others. I want to see Cain. Why are they giving me choices with Anna? I could care less about Anna. She slapped us, y'all, a few episodes ago. And now we want to be close to her. Nah. Anna and I exchanged a couple of more rude pleasantries, and then I went out, allowing her to lie on the soft bed for a little while. It's not that difficult to actually be with a man in this story, is it? Part of the squad was sitting at the table. They all looked as if they had thrown off a heavy burden. For some reason, Hans was lying on the couch, groaning heavily. Pylon and Ania looked at him with irritation, standing in the far corner of the room, flapping their wings with emphasis. I sat down in an empty seat next to Cain. Anna joined us a little late. What are they doing? Drawing their wings. That old man slipped because of them. Cain nodded toward the engineer. Those two are just not used to living among humans. And I, on the other hand, sometimes forget I have wings. Y'all, they're making it even more obvious. Like, Pagdrea, I think that, or hypothesis is actually true. Like, Those two are not used to living amongst humans because they used to live in the sky. And I, on the other hand, sometimes forget I have wings because he didn't used to have wings all his life. So he was actually an experiment. He was experimented on and got turned into an immortal. Because, of course, like sometimes you can be a little too much up in your head and you forget things. But when you're an immortal, you will have a tougher time to actually get used to like human warmth. This man on the other side, he's just a little bit intrigued by pure hearts in humanity. Because he only got actually met with bitch ass attitude from humans. So he's not used to a human being actually caring about someone else other than themselves, them actually being capable to give out warmth. I feel bad for Cain. That's why I don't like to hit them. Portia was fussing around a broken kitchen counter on which there was a tabletop gas stove. Seeing where I was looking, she smiled demurely. I found it on the lower floors. I also have solar panels and some supplies. When it gets really unbearable, I heat water on it and cook myself something warm. But today I'm planning to feast like it's my last. I wonder why. Is she planning to leave here? There were several tin cans of food next to Portia. Even though they could rarely boast a refined taste, at that moment they smelled surprisingly good. Why is she feeding us? Why is she not sparing the clean water or gas for the stove? And how are you with the food in Oxford? Are you also fishing off the last of your supplies? Did we say we're in Oxford? Everything was bearable for us until the city that supplied grains and other staples was destroyed by the abominations. So you come up with something else? People always create something new to replace what was lost. She stirred the contents of the saucepan. Do you know what happened to them? Well, to the infected. It's difficult to say anything specific. We're studying them, but so far the scientists have made little progress, almost no results. I see, and I thought the top brass knew everything. Wasn't your husband a big shot too? He was. He might have told me something, but he passed away shortly after our wedding. The rest of the squad came into the room along with the doctor. I have a favor to ask you. Would you mind going down to the flooded floors? I saved a few bottles from our wine collection. Maybe more of them survived. Noah clicked his tongue and adjusted his glasses, looking as if he had saved almost an entire country from destruction the day before. Bye. Well, did this conversation only start after we arrived? I'm not going anywhere for wine. I just suggested it. Don't pay him any attention. He's traumatized by his past. Bye! I'm scared to go down there myself, so I understand. No means no. The general coughed, drawing attention to himself.
I'll get it. Just let me know where to go.
What? An hour later, the food was ready. The wine was poured into some surviving glasses. Of the immortals, only Cain wanted to try any. Y'all. Cain. What did the humans do to him? Looking at the table, I chose one of the offered plates. Y'all, honestly, I feel like we need to be strong, bitches. Give me the wine. After taking a sip of the wine and enjoyed its taste, I started eating. The heat coming from the stew pleasantly warmed my stomach. Even though the taste of the meat was far from what I was used to, I ate with gusto. Sitting at a small table, the entire squad kept bumping elbows, but no one was irritated. They knew that they might not see each other alive tomorrow and valued the time spent together. Even Portia, who was used to solitude, looked content at that moment. How did you survive? Why are you here alone and not joining the others? I've been living like this for almost 7 years. Oh, I'm an experienced hermit. How did this happen? It's a long story. Would you like the full version or the short one? Give me the whole truth. I can deal with it. General, you probably noticed the hidden stand with weapons.
Yes, your husband didn't deny himself anything.
On the contrary, he never denied me anything. Portia looked thoughtfully at her plate and smiled warmly at her own memories. Our meeting was a setup. My husband has been under surveillance by the Secret Service for a long time, and as one of their agents, I had to gain his trust. Influential people like him couldn't be left unattended. I hated my job back then, but I couldn't say anything against it. However, I fell in love like a complete fool. Portia took a sip and laughed heartedly. Sorry, wine always drags me into the past.
Your husband was part of your order. I think everything you can tell us about him can be useful.
He was sweet, courteous, and truly caring. He bought me everything I wanted, but he was too overprotective. In the final few years, he was always afraid of something. He started calling someone. He said that those conversations helped him stay afloat, but he wasn't himself after those calls. He bought the entire top of this building, wouldn't allow me to leave without security, and said that no one could be trusted anymore. Even our wedding took place within these walls.
What was he afraid of?
I don't think it was a what, but a whom. The order probably had enemies. So he kept you here, like a bird in a cage. I'm not complaining. Believe me, it was clear from the start what I was signing up for. It was hard for me after his death, but almost immediately after, the first cataclysm came, and then it was hard for everyone. I stayed here. The lower floors were restaurants and offices, so everyone left as soon as they could. To keep the looters out, I locked a few infected down on the lower floors. Don't even ask what it cost me. Sometimes people would break into my place and I would kill them. And recently a wave hit the city and everything was flooded. I had almost no food left, but leaving the home where we had spent so much time, I didn't want to. You learned more about the order. In the silence that followed, Portia drained her mug of wine and slammed it down on the table, looking confidently at the squad. But then you showed up. A small squad prepared for danger and clearly knowing more than ordinary folks. Besides, you need the order. That means you have a goal. If you want to find what's left of it, you need the bunker under the old research center. Everyone stiffened. Usually such speeches ended with very unpleasant stipulations. I'll give you the key and show you where it is, but on the condition that I go with you. I'm not there and back. You'll take me to your base. Ooh, Pain canced and stood up abruptly. What is going on? Why is he having red eyes again?
Turn off the lights.
What is going on? Oh shit, I totally forgot. Portia jumped up and quickly covered several candles on the table. And the lamp! Turn off the lamp! Not understanding what was happening, everyone froze. What is going on? I thought maybe this woman is like on Cain's radar, but apparently not. Then a strange chilling squeal came from outside the windows.
An abomination.
Great, because we didn't need more. Black creatures flew up from below, scratching the glass with their claws. A bloody trail remained on the windows. The monsters were dragging a dead victim. After waiting for them to leave, Greg looked at the kerosene lamp, which he'd managed to put out in time. He didn't relight it, apparently to save fuel. We survivors cannot warm ourselves without fires, so they catch us at night. They understand why I don't want to stay here. The general thought about it. He knew Donovan wouldn't let Portia into the city just like that, but he didn't want to give the woman empty promises. Deciding on something, he turned to Portia.
Do you have any weapons left? Maybe you have some gear.
Yes, I keep everything in one place.
Great. We'll load it onto the boat tonight, then rest for a couple of hours, and leave in the morning. Everyone together.
That's interesting. Lying with Anna in the same bed, I heard the others walking on the floor above us. Portia was showing them the bedroom suitable for an overnight stay. The stomping and creaking didn't let me fall asleep. Anna, clearly very tired, dozed off the moment her head hit the pillow. That's actually very interesting. They're actually trying to show Dimitry with humanity. This is so funny. Putting my head under my head, I looked out the huge cracked window. The broken moon shone so brightly, easily illuminating the entire room. As soon as I close my eyes, I see that room from the nightmare again. After fidgeting in bed and finally losing the desire to sleep, I got dressed and went out to the main room. No one. Can't we just see Cain? Cain, Greg, and the general are working on the boat with Portia, and the rest are asleep already. I fucking cannot. How is it possible? Like, Cain and Greg, like the only ones that I truly desire to have around. Like, of course, Cain is the number one, but you get what I mean? They're always with the general. General is literally actually taking away the love interest like Pokemon. After looking around the empty room, I sighed. I used to sit down with the book at times like this. What should I do now? I heard voices on the floor above and... Music? Are they nuts? Abominations can hear it. I walked over to the stairs and went up to the second floor. A view of the hall opened up before me. Tall cabinets lined the walls leading to a broken window. Walking down a ways, I saw Jan sitting on the floor. He was slowly wrapping his hands in bandages. The cold wind ruffled his hair, and his metal staples glinted in the moonlight. He dangled his leg out the window while staring at a small portable TV plugged into a worn-out battery. So that's where the noise were coming from. I wonder where he got it. Maybe ask him what he's watching. I walked over and sat down next to Jan. The picture on the screen was very blurry, but the frames warmed my soul. I haven't seen a working TV in a long time. Portia can't take it with her, so she gave it to me. As soon as its battery dies, it will turn into a pumpkin. What are you watching? I think it was some kind of comedy. My dad had the same one, so I grabbed it. Taking the box, I looked at the back where stills from the film were shown. I've never heard of it. Might have been something very unpopular. Before that, I'd only seen it at home. Apparently your father had refined taste. So refined that sometimes I doubted he had any at all. Bye! You got to know Jan a little better. That's so cute. I think I'll watch something else after all. Want to join in? I'm not sure. I think it would be better to sleep. I don't want to be nodding off all of tomorrow. Then good night. Jan, I wished Jan the same and silently walked back to the bedroom. Pulling the covers over my head so as not to see the moonlight, I lay half awake until I almost dawn. Only then did I finally manage to fall asleep. As soon as everyone was gathered, we boarded the boat and headed toward the bunker. The morning was still and silent. Flocks of birds occasionally flew over us, and Cain tapped out a pleasant melody on the side of the boat. During the night, the squad had collected backpacks and bags with everything they needed. The canopy was insulated, and its structure was reinforced. We had maps and weapons. Do we know how far we have to sail for? No, I don't know where the land begins now.
Maybe a day, maybe two, maybe a week. Let's hope for the best.
Greg checked our route on several maps at once. The general often came up to him to further adjust the route. Noah, who was sitting next to him, had been fiddling with some huge device all morning. Not knowing what to do with myself, I decided to find out more about it. What are you struggling with? With the satellite radio, checking if there is a signal. And why would it suddenly appear? If the crew hurries and starts doing their job, they'll soon install a tower that will increase the range of the signal, but there is no connection so far. We sailed without stopping and spent the whole day on the water. For food, we had meager dry rations prepared by Portia, and to sleep we hutched beneath the canopy in the most uncomfortable positions. Sometimes Ania and Pylon took off to stretch their wings. It had been decided that the immortals would not be sent together until the unknown territory could hide many dangers. As Anna noticed, Ania had grown closer to the squad, but there was something else that changed in her behavior. The angel no longer avoided Cain. Pylon too became closer, as if following Ania's example. What is going on? Hey, they found out it's a long thing. Probably because Cain took that bullet when Ania was almost shot. Maybe. It could also be like this bitch-ass attitude that a lot of immortals had towards the unknown in Heaven's Secret, like in the first book. They were kind of like racist towards former humans. And maybe that's what Ania and Pylon did as well. Maybe they see him now as worthy. Looking at the squad, I sighed tiredly and raised my head to the sky. The stars were so clearly visible in the darkness. They sparkled and I felt calmer looking at them. At least they hadn't changed in the last 3 years. Carefully moving Ania's wing a little higher so as not to wake her, I covered myself and continued to look at the flickering dots until fatigue took over. Hans woke us up early in the morning. He kept yelling something in German until he roused the doctor. Y'all, I think this is so funny. Jan, who was sleeping on the backpacks not far from us, rolled over and quietly muttered, "There's land ahead." He speaks German too. I just fucking love this. We love this. "There's land. Indeed, look." I opened my eyes wide and was among the first to run to the bow of the ship. That's right. Despite the fact that I tried to drink a little water as possible during our boating adventure, my body's naturally process hadn't disappeared. It was very likely I wasn't the only one who breathed a sigh of relief upon seeing land. We sped up and approached a huge highway that had gone underwater. We hid the boat in a secluded spot, took everything we needed from it, and went forward. Where are we even going at this point? What are we looking for? How quiet it is here. Too quiet.
Look around. We're walking through an open area. Now everyone will see us. The infected, the abominations, the raiders, the cultists.
Maybe we should turn down some alley then?
A confined space is even worse. Plus it's easier to get lost.
Can you estimate from the map how long it will take us to get to this bunker? I don't think we'll get there until evening.
Lester, Cain, walk behind. Pyle and Jan and Greg with me in front. Noah, you in charge of our engineers.
I'm actually a doctor.
Anna, Portia, Kira, and Anna and Simona stay in the center and watch our surroundings. What? Let's move quickly.
I don't know if I hate him because of this or not, but honestly, like you all know, I hate this bitch. But I appreciate this gesture, so I feel the need to actually point it out. Dimitry said the women, because they are more vulnerable. I'm gonna just accept the slander. Because physically men are stronger than women, and there's no debate about that. Sadly, that's a thing. Mentally, women are stronger. And he said the women in the middle and the men actually are in front and behind the women to make sure that they stay safe. Love this.
Let's move quickly.
The squad regrouped and continued walking in silence, observing the vast deserted territory of the former metropolis. I walked nearer to the end, keeping close to Cain. I just love to see these little moments. Honestly, I'm intrigued though. Do we only walk closer to Cain because we have like a higher infinity with him? He noticed how I was bending under the weight of my pack and pulled it off me without saying a word. Yo! He said, "Shut the fuck up, you're so weak, bitch. I'm gonna carry this."
Strange is heavier than the others.
I took old clothes and shoes with me.
Are you sure you really need those? I don't think you last until evening with all that weight.
Ay, Cain. Y'all, I'm such a weak-ass bitch for him. I'm such a simp for him. Oh god, that's so cute, y'all. Like, why am I such a simp for him? Why am I such a wimp? Like, I wouldn't last a day in front of this man. I wouldn't.
It's okay. I'll carry it.
I raised my eyebrows in surprise. I think this gesture... What the fuck? Y'all, I actually thought I actually took something different. I would have actually spit into my face, if that's possible. I think this gesture definitely means something. It definitely does. Cain is especially concerned about me. Knows how to be a good friend, bitch. The insult. Thank you. Not the blushing. I slowed my pace for Cain to catch up with me. He noticed and nodded to Lester.
You go ahead. I'll keep watch. If we watch after us, cryptographer, you're staring at each other.
Silence, bitch! The smart know how to observe, okay? And the eyebrow.
I can help you with your backpack too if you spare us your observations for a while.
Yo, again, Cain is my man. What did I just say? Lester smiled as he handed his load to the immortal and walked on. He's like, fine by me, bitches. Like, if you carry my backpack, that's fine. Lester smiled as he handed his load to the immortal and walked on. He turned around and said, you really are an angel, okay? Yeah, the provoking the shit out of him. Yeah, because he noticed that he has a soft spot for us. What did I say? Love this. You really are an angel, Cain. What a cutie pie you are for taking my backpack. Yo, the look. Now, this face, every time the general appears, I look curiously at the man carrying my backpack.
What is it?
You're not your usual self today. A little nicer. Nicer? When has he been a bitch to us? Ken narrowed his eyes and looked at me so warmly I felt a slight tremor. Aww. Yo, what is going on? Like, I'm too soft for this bitch. He offered me his hand and smiled charmingly. What?
We started off on the wrong foot.
Bye, he says with that bitch-ass provocative smile and the red eyes. You all know how I feel about the red eyes. As soon as I leaned on him, walking became much easier. Our closeness, so human, made my head spin. Me! I needed to pull myself together and not drown in fantasies. No, fucking bitch-ass. Like, drown in the fucking fantasies.
You guys makes me feel awkward. You want to ask something?
Your gaze makes me feel awkward. The straightforwardness. What happened to you back in Rotkov? Cain thought about it. He peered around and he then bowed his head toward me again. His calm, confident voice enveloped me. Y'all, you all know how much I love a confident bitch. You all know. As if all his attention was focused only on me. Who wouldn't feel special with that treatment? He could make anyone feel special, y'all. What is going on? Did I write this? Y'all. Is the writer of this story actually watching my videos?
Consider it a superpower. I can use it when a situation gets out of hand, but it takes too much in return, so I try not to use it.
Can a neon pylon do the same?
No, my circumstances are a bit unusual.
So you're special? Cain chuckled softly. He is very, very special. Without slowing down, he leaned down and whispered in my ear.
I'm glad you see me that way.
Bye! Yo! What is this? What is going on? I was joking. I was not joking, but like, nah, y'all. He would be my perfect man. Nah, he mine. I claimed him so many times. We walked in step. Cain adjusted to my pace. Like he provokes the shit out of you and just goes in for the flirting and the teasing. Me too. Why avoid direct answers? Why? Exhaling, Cain raised his head and warily whispered to the sky.
There's no way to be close, nor be far. What is this face? What's going on? There's no running away. And not getting what you want either.
What are you talking about? So what is this? Another riddle? Talking to you is as much fun as doing a crossword puzzle.
And we're perfect for each other.
We really are. Like, you get under my skin, you provoke me, you tease me, you flirt with me, and you make my wildest fantasies come to life. I love this confident bitch. The book is enough for me, the lies. Although even the book can be deciphered, unlike Cain. He looked away and sighed quietly.
I got this power from my brother.
What?
And a certain circumstance strengthened it.
What the fuck? What? Oh, wait. Are we talking about what happened back then in the monastery? Where he actually killed all of those people and like went all bizarre? That's what he doesn't want to talk about. He got this power from his brother? What the fuck?
I don't like it. That's why it's so hard. There was a time I couldn't stand even a minute in the state I was in below the monastery. When the priest started teaching me to play the organ, I unconsciously transferred his advice to everything around me, including the approach to using my power. If you mindlessly swing your fists, you'll quickly run out of steam without achieving a result. It will be like trying to play a symphony by banging a random keys. You need to practice, you need to feel the rhythm and understand what you're doing. Only then does everything make sense. Music has given me the strength to control myself, but sometimes it turns into a cacophony I can't ignore.
He says with the red eyes.
The notes replace the screams, and the beat begins to speed up, turning into something incomprehensible.
Wow. Y'all, you do know what that means, the notes replace the screams, right? Like, a lot of people like to transmit, like, a lot of people feel like, to put an example in here, they feel anger towards their parents because of a situation, and then they actually transmit that hatred onto their best friend when they're talking, even though they have nothing to do with this, but they just transmit it onto the person that they talk to next, because they can actually understand the situation. They want to get out of this, but they can't, and the frustration takes over. And this man is actually transmitting his hatred and his frustration and the desire to want to scream because he can't escape his cage into playing on the piano. The more frustration he feels, the more aggressive his music becomes.
It's times like that when I get confused, when I'm out of control. I'm afraid that one day I'll just lose my mind and become someone else's planned thing.
Listening to him, I try to imagine his youth. Why did he study with a priest? Where is his brother? Why does his eyes glow red? Where did he disappear to? I have so many questions for him that I can't remember them all right now.
Is this honesty enough for you to start with?
Y'all, a disarmingly charming smile.
I've never told anyone what I told you.
Answer one more.
Okay, go ahead.
When you pulled me out of the fire, I definitely felt that something like it had happened before. It's like I can't remember that moment and you don't talk about it directly.
I knew you.
As soon as he said those words, my whole body turned to stone. He knew us! We get the confirmation. I stopped abruptly, stuck, unable to even lift my head. My thoughts were racing at a furious speed. I simply couldn't control myself. Cain watched in silence after giving me time to come to my senses. He didn't rush me or force me to catch up with the squad. He was just there and allowed me to lean on him. Yo! Why aren't we a couple yet? What does this mean? Lester turned to look at us and frowned. Cain gave the soldier a disparaging look and gently touched me.
I think we better keep up or the squad will go crazy with worry.
You didn't answer. I don't remember you. What if I forgot something important?
If it was important, you'll remember. I can rush you. Just let things unfold naturally. There are some things we can't control.
Just like his feelings. I walked next to Cain for a while longer until Anna started turning around too often. Realizing she wouldn't leave me alone, I switched places with Lester, leaving Cain behind. Why? I was living my best life in the back with Cain. We were in our bubble of happiness, like leaning close to him. We were living our best lives. Why the fuck did we need to switch places with Lester because Anna kept on looking back? I could feel his gaze on my back the rest of the way. At least his thoughts are always with us. Evening on the same day. We passed through several burrows during the day. There was nothing left of many of them. We didn't encounter a single human or any infected. It felt like all living things had left the city. In some places, the highway had collapsed, so immortals had to take turns carrying the squad over the hole. By evening, we got tired of scanning ahead and were walking forward, aimlessly looking around less and less. I recognized this place. The science station where the bunker is located should be somewhere nearby.
I think we have about half an hour left.
Rails joined the highway on the left, one of the few ground-level metro stations used to pass through here.
Stop scratching yourself. Why did I treat your wound?
The doctor slapped hands on the arm. For the last 10 minutes, the mechanic had been trying to scratch his itchy injury. Oh, God. Oh, no. Is he infected? Is he infected? Because he's saying it's itching. He's saying that his injury is itching like crazy. And again, I'm gonna say it in German. Like, I'm trying to teach you, y'all.
Es juckt wie verrückt.
It itches like crazy. Hans' disgruntled cries made the atmosphere around us even gloomier. While cherishing the thought of getting to the bunker without incident, we came across a corpse lying on the road, eaten to the bone by someone. Then we started seeing them more often. From a distance, it looked as if the bodies were crawling toward us, but the dead remained motionless. In fact, something was crawling and squirming under the skin. There were more and more corpses hung on posts, laid on the ground, gathering in stinking heaps.
What is this? I read this. I doubt it was an infected person or a human, unless he's really sick.
A fallen train appeared on the tracks ahead. It looked like someone had stopped it abruptly, preventing it from going any further. Hans frowned. He walked closer and leaned over the rails. He ran his finger along the inside of it and wiped his hand on his pants.
Die Eisenbahn ist nicht verlassen. Das heißt, der Zug kann hier durchfahren.
Oh.
The railroad
is not abandoned. This train could still be in use.
Guck mal, die Schienen sind geschmiert.
What the fuck? Look at this. The rails are greased.
He thinks the train has been used. Am I the only one who thinks we should get out of here as soon as possible? Before they skin us as well?
I agree. I don't like it here at all. With disgust, Kira looked at several bodies peeking out from the train. They were twitching.
I'll check on them. Stay here.
Greg pulled out a gun and slowly walked toward the train. Getting closer to the corpses, he picked up a rusty pipe from the ground and jabbed it into one of them. Just then, a white maggot crawled out from under Hans' bandages, was standing in front of me. It fell to the ground. I instinctively jumped to the side, not yet knowing what was happening. At that very moment, the flesh on the corpses burst, revealing a swarming white mess of thick white worms. They climbed on top of each other, causing ripples to appear on the bodies.
Blowflies, damn it. Hans, take off the bandage. How long have you been scratching?
Oh my god. The doctor rushed to the mechanic, but Greg suddenly looked at the father's train carriage.
Someone is running this way.
With that, he jumped back and rushed toward us, taking Hans with him.
Quickly, here!
But Greg didn't make it in time. A door opened in one of the carriages and an infected jumped out at full speed. Oh my goodness. Yo. I recoiled. The infected's own silhouette could barely be seen through the hordes of flies circling around his body. Like the Lord of the Flies, he gathered them all around himself. As soon as he took a step, the swarm flew after him.
They live in his flesh. The species lays its offspring in meat, sometimes even in living people or cattle. The larvae develop very quickly, devouring the body. How could they be here? The climate has changed. I think if a Tyrannosaurus suddenly ran out at us, I wouldn't even be too surprised.
Damn, Cain stepped forward, not hiding the disgusted expression on his face. Amen, sis.
Let's get rid of him quickly.
He rushed toward the infected, but suddenly the door to the conductor's cabin opened. About 10 people appeared behind it, miming crosses with their arms. One of them screamed.
No, if you kill him here, the flies will immediately start looking for the bodies. We've already lost 3. Take him further away from here.
The fuck?
The train can still be fixed. I just deal with the infected and we'll help you get out.
The infected slowly approached the squad. Because of the flies, it wasn't moving as fast as the others. We can throw him off the collapsed highway. Remember that hole we just flew over? We haven't gone far.
Yeah, I think the distance will be enough to keep the flies from coming back.
The general shouted the plan to Cain. After walking around the angel, the entire squad locked themselves in the conductor's cabin. Cain began to retreat in the right direction. Dimitry didn't take his eyes off him. He kept the infected at gunpoint and was ready to help the immortal at any moment, although he hardly needed his help. Balin and Enya climbed onto the train, monitoring what was happening outside.
Give me the lamp. The one that Greg put out yesterday.
Portia lowered her backpack and quickly took out what was needed. The doctor unscrewed the bottom and took out a wet wick, squeezing it on Hans' wound. The red cut opened up and started bleeding. From it, several white heads crawled out. Ah! I'm disgusted beyond reasonable doubt. The doctor methodically pulled each of them out and then went over the wound again. Kira covered her mouth with her hand. What she saw made her feel sick. Me. This man. But they needed to get there somewhere, sir. Sorry. He said, I told you. Take them out. Son, you've been warned. He told you not to scratch it. You felt the need to scratch your wound open. You scratched it bloody. That's your fault.
Ich hab's ja gesagt, hol sie raus.
I told you, pull them out.
If anyone has open wounds, smear them with this. Flies hate kerosene. Something is wrong. The infected isn't reacting to Cain.
We turned to the windows. Flies swarmed outside the glass trying to get to us.
It seems they don't react to these creatures.
The last thing we wanted to think about was who exactly the man was calling creatures.
The swarm needs living flesh. Flies are looking for humans, their meat. Immortal bodies don't know the time. Perhaps the flies simply don't recognize it. So one of us must lure the infected to the drop-off.
Yep, I had a sudden thought. If they burrow in cattle, then they can burrow into any animal that accidentally passes by. Path of high adaptability. Maybe we should set the flies on fire with kerosene.
That's a good idea. To burn them all at once, you need to catch them the moment they are all on the infected.
On the infected!
You need to set them on fire at the same time. Then they will flare up and pass the flame on the others like dominoes. But you won't be able to pour kerosene on him. The flies will go away immediately. And if you first throw him off the highway and then pour it on him, the wind will simply carry away the stream. I can pour kerosene into a thermos and attach it to the infected, and when he falls, shoot at him. It will ignite and the flies won't escape prematurely because of the unpleasant smell. That makes sense, but kerosene won't ignite from a bullet. It doesn't burn cold and bullet won't heat up enough to set it on fire. What if we use gasoline? We have generators. It might work. Its ignition point is lower.
Thanks to the help of the stranger, Dimitry and Anna filled a thermos with gasoline. Of the entire squad, only Greg, Jan, and Dimitry didn't have time to touch the wicks soaked in kerosene, so were still able to attract flies. That's fucked up. After buttoning up tightly, they took the thermos and prepared to go out. As soon as the door opened, all three rushed to the drop-off. The infected reacted instantly and ran after them. Damn. So that also leaves us with the fact that he's an immortal. He's just a special immortal. An immortal that got experimented on. Because he was out there all the time. And if he would have been a human, then the infected would have reacted to him. But maybe, that's just maybe a thought of mine. It could still be possible that he used to be human and got turned into an immortal, because if you actually turn into an immortal, you adapt to their body temperature, you get their wings, then maybe your body also changes. And that means that you're not actually viewed as an human anymore. The flies didn't have time to get inside. They disappeared along with their host. Anna, Cain, Lester, and I waited for a while and then hurried after them. We needed to make sure that no one would get hurt. When we caught up with the men, the general hit the infected in the stomach with all his might. He staggered, standing unsteadily at the very edge of the highway. Then he lost his balance and fell. Jan approached, trying to see where he'd fallen. I suddenly noticed several flies circling over the drop-off. That's strange. They all had to fly after their larvae. They couldn't have abandoned them. And if they couldn't, that means that the infected is nearby too. Oh my god. Caught Jan. Realizing that the infected had caught onto something and hadn't fallen, I hurried to Jan. He was about to lean over the edge when I called out to him and made him move farther back. At that very moment, the infected's hand gripped the spot where Jan had been standing. Oh my goodness. That little bitch. No, y'all, this is like the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. He tried to climb back up, but Cain knocked his fingers out of the way and he fell down. That time he definitely crashed.
Thank you.
The main thing is that we're all okay. You care about those around. Of course, there's no way in fuck that Jan is dying. He's one of the cutest ones here. The others came closer, holding onto the edge of the highway. I leaned over and looked down. A strong gust of wind caught my hair. The infected crashed 30 feet below us. Flies circled around his corpse, not knowing what happened to their host. Path of high adaptability. Taking out his pistol, Dimitry aimed it at the terrormost that flashed below. A shot rang out and a weak spark turned into a flame, slowly spreading over the infected's body. Like fireworks, the flies below began to catch fire. They flared red, then died and fell to the ground, reducing the black haze around the body. One after another, they shook their singing wings, quickly passing the fire to the entire swarm. After a few minutes, almost nothing was left of them. I noticed that Anna was peering down closely at the corpse, still frowning. She tried to see what was left of its head smashed on the ground. Is something wrong?
I don't know why, but this infected has a well-preserved brain. Usually we aren't so lucky. It's hard to see from here, but it seems like it's not all riddled with black veins.
What could that mean?
Perhaps the infected doesn't need to take over the entire body. It only needs to get in and take over part of it, but I'm not sure how much yet.
After checking ourselves for cuts, we returned to the train. Not wasting time, the others pulled the corpses from the railway tracks and dumped them in a pile.
We want to set them on fire, not in a pile, but one by one, so that the larvae are boiled alive.
We're not going to waste time on that.
But everyone doesn't need to help. A couple of people will be enough. Besides, the research station is very close. Look.
She entered the carriage and pointed out the window. Far below us was an old building that looked very much like a hospital.
That's where we're going.
While examining the survivors on the train, the doctor spoke again.
These people say there was electricity on the rails from the coal annex. As soon as the train got derailed, the power went out. But if we can get the carriages back on the tracks, the electricity can be turned on again. We were escaping another area. A different group passed through here before us, and I know the train goes underground as it heads into the subway. It's safe there. The speed prevents the infected from getting close, and the abominations can get into the tight tunnel. If we calculate everything correctly, this route is the best option for travel. We'll help them, and it will save us a day on the return trip.
Dimitry thought about it. The station was closed, which allowed the squad to take a risk.
You and Hans will stay here. It will be difficult to lift the train without the immortals piling. Can you help with this?
The demon didn't look particularly happy with the work that had piled up. He shrugged.
I'll try.
Within a few moments, the evening turned into night. Noah raised his head to the sky and frowned.
The days are getting darker and shorter, have you noticed? The consequences of the crack in the moon, but we're still having difficulty finding out what caused them. If this continues growing, anything will be much more challenging. Yes, the new daytime routine will affect everything, even the most unlikely processes. The face. I think we should hurry.
Silently agreeing with Cain, the squad turned toward the research station. Inside, everything was torn up and trashed. It looked as if no humans had been there for a long time, but as soon as we entered, we were convinced that wasn't the case. The angels and the general heard something. What are we afraid of? The infected?
Humans. When you smell it, it smells like gunpowder and something flammable. Someone was here just recently. Maybe they're still here.
Let's be quiet.
Portia shuddered and moved closer to Anna and Ania. The woman was skilled with a weapon and was physically fit, but after years of being cooped up, she couldn't trust her body the same way she used to.
Where should the bunker be?
The underground floor at the very bottom. There's an emergency staircase here. If it hasn't collapsed, we can use it to get down there.
The spaces between the floors were empty. We made our way to the very bottom level and came out at the bunker. Oh my god. And Jesus, of course. The massive door leading inside was closed. However, it wasn't the door that caught our attention just then. In front of us were traces of the cult's presence at the station. Signs drawn in blood, similar in outline to those in the ritual hall in Rorotkov. The corners lay black and rotting parts of human bodies. Like the main martyr, a man was hanging next to the door. He no longer looked human. His poor body had been torn apart from the inside by powerful force. His blood was splashed all over the door. This is another body that couldn't take it. The cult just won't stop. And with each new attempt, the corpses become more and more horrible. It's hard to imagine the pain that this man felt with the ritual was going on. The victim's eyes plunged out, the skin hung in tatters. It had curled unnaturally from the energy that had spilled out. I walked a little farther and suddenly froze.
What is it, Simona?
Not believing my eyes, I pointed to the book. It was lying not far from the corpse. Laying open, it beckoned to me.
So they're still here. Be quiet and don't do anything. We need to be extremely careful.
Noah's radio suddenly started beeping on his ship. Of course. Noah grabbed it, trying to turn off the sound that betrayed our presence. Oh my god. Why, girl? Why?
This is Adam Base. Do you copy?
There was a crackling sound, and then the voice became slightly more distant. We heard fragments of someone else's voice. It seemed like someone on the other end had left a button pressed.
Nope, still no answer. Do you think it was the squad? They still haven't been able to contact us. I wonder if they're still alive. Of course they are. Remember what Pastor Agape called the woman they found on the last mission? Savior, huh? No wonder he calls everyone to pray for her soul at his services. What? Isn't that a bit much? She's not some kind of saint. As if you know anything about it. Come on, check the connection again.
The crackle stopped. Noah finally managed to turn off the radio. Too late, bitches! Each squad member looked at me in shock. What? Their looks were making me uncomfortable. Agape? Why is he up? Agape, what is he up to? Why is he calling for prayers in my name? And why isn't Donovan stopping this? Swallowing hard, I looked at the squad. Something strange is happening in Oxford, you think? Well, at least we didn't get eaten alive, and at least we weren't actually massacred by the cult. But I don't believe anything. Now, I'm actually gonna give you all the option. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be capable to cut this footage and put it up the same day of the update. So I did put up the voting tile, but I want you to tell me, should I finish each story till the end of where the update actually updated the story? Or should I do an episode of each of the stories until I come to the end of the update. Let me know in the comments. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video with me. Tell me in the comments below what you think was best, and I will see you in another video. Bye.